This is a 2002 Mercedes-Benz CLK GTR.
Interesting gearbox.
I want to apologize. For about 2 weeks now, everybody's been waiting for me to rate their dream cars. I've picked a few that I'm gonna be rating today. I'm gonna choose 4. Not only rate them through stock performance, but also the way they look and also the price. This is gonna be a pretty in-depth video. But I do want to apologize because there are 3 reasons that I never made this video. For one, I got super busy. Not only with work, my uncle came over from a different state. I also got sick. You can kind of hear it in my voice. The worst part is that I just got lazy. Laziness is the worst excuse because I really want to go far in life. I really want to go far with this YouTube channel. And some days I'm gonna be lazy, but it's just not acceptable. I'll try my best to not disappoint you guys again. Most importantly, not disappoint myself, because if I disappoint myself, then I'm never gonna go anywhere in life. But before we get into this, make sure you drop a like and make sure to smash that subscribe button. My name is Isaac. Welcome back to another Morales Motors video. And if you regret not investing in Bitcoin in 2009, then just subscribe to my channel because it's the same dang thing. Now, without further ado, let's dive right into the first car. This first car is not really special to me, but I feel it very strongly because I actually know a guy, he's a friend of mine, with a Nissan GTR R35, of course. The Nissan GTR R35 is the first GTR slash Skyline series, despite it not considered a Skyline, to have a V6 and automatic transmission. The rest were manual with an inline 6. For whatever reason, Nissan decided to try it a little differently. However, they did a freaking smacking job at it. That's why the Nissan GTR is so popular. Everybody loves it. And they are for sale. They go like that. They go quickly. And on the used market, they're super expensive. If you get a first year, I think 2009, going for Porsche 911 money. And it's crazy because how popular that car is. I remember in elementary school, I saw near my school, in one of the homeowners near my school's garage, a Nissan GTR R35, and I was like, whoa, that is insane. I remember seeing one at a car meet, and that's actually where I met the guy who I personally know, who with the R35. Yeah, overall, just a super beautiful car. I'm gonna have to give it 10 out of 10 in look. Now for price, not gonna be the same. It's a really very expensive car. People like the Hamilton collection. I said the car's not the best, that he doesn't like it. However, he likes it because of how tunable it is. He tuned his GTR to like 2,000 or 3,000 horsepower, which is crazy. However, people like his Adapt, rest in peace FaZe, absolutely loves the Nissan GTR. So I don't know how to go about this, whether it's worth the price or not. I mean, the guy's bought a Nissan GTR on like 3 different occasions. Y'all remember the off-white GTR? And even after he sold that one, he bought another, and after that one, he bought another recently. The starting price slash original MSRP of the R35 Nissan GTR is approximately $122,000. So it is quite expensive. For that money, you could get a Porsche 911 Carrera T or a base Carrera. However, I don't know if those would be better options because yes, they have a manual transmission, but you can't really tune them. Unless I'm wrong. And you can tune them crazy like a GTR. So for price, I'm gonna have to give it a 6 out of 10 because it's such a loved vehicle. There's a reason why everybody buys one if they have money. Obviously, I don't have GTR money. But for overall performance, I have to give it a 10 out of 10 as well. Stock, this thing already does a crazy amount. Apparently in 2007, when it was first released, the car made 480 horsepower stock. However, in the 2025, it made up to 600 horsepower from the factory. Considering the tunability to this car, oh my gosh. Like once again I said, the Hamilton collection, he tuned his car up to 3,000 horsepower apparently. He has tons of other cars. He has a $30 million collection with cars that stock from the factory make way more than a Nissan GTR from the factory. So I don't know why he'd be lying. And there's a saying that in the car world, you cannot find a singular stock Nissan GTR. So because of that, I'm going to have to give it a 10 out of 10. And that brings my average rating to 8.7 out of 10. Anyways, on to the next. Now for this next one, many of my American or Australian followers may relate to this one because this is a first generation / 1969 Pontiac Firebird Trans Am. Now with nothing else said, I have to say looks, this one is a 10 out of 10. It gives classic American muscle vibes. It's not a super blocky car. And overall, there's not a single person that I believe will dislike the way this car looks. It's absolutely beautiful. Now, I actually know another guy who has one. And I kid you not, I got a little jealous when he sent me a clip of it. Because it's just such an iconic car. It's so beautiful. And there's nothing to hate about it. So once again, an 8 out of 10. However, in terms of performance, I may have to drop it lower. This car is from 1969, the 1970s really. And back then, 335 horsepower was pretty decent. You know, it's pretty good. Keep in mind, this car, compared to modern day muscle cars, just doesn't stand a chance. A Demon 170 Challenger, which, correct me if I'm wrong, you can also get in a 6-speed manual.
I want to say that I was incorrect about two things here. It does still have under a 2-second 0 to 60 speed. However, it's 1.6 seconds, not 1.9. And it also comes with an 8-speed automatic.
But it has a 1.66 0 to 60. This is a big body Challenger. This thing is heavy, and you're still getting a 2-second, under 2-second 0 to 60. As much as people hate on America and American cars, you cannot deny that American cars have come so far, have evolved to be absolutely insane. Comparing to the modern day, I'm gonna have to give the performance a 4 out of 10. You can try to stab me, you can try to stone me in the comments saying, oh, that was the worst opinion ever. But I'm just saying what I believe in my heart. I'm also gonna have to rate the price low. You can get a Demon 170 for around the same price, maybe a little less.
Here I made another mistake because I was looking at the average price of a Trans Am and apparently it was $175, but I didn't look deep enough. You can get good examples for $30,000 to $40,000.
And that of a Trans Am. Keep in mind, the Hellcat engine is super reliable, so you can take reliability out of the question. Editor Isaac here. I'm gonna have to give the price a 7 out of 10. Basically, with these cars, I did basic, bare minimum research, so, you know, I pulled a lot of the stuff out of my butt, and when I found out you can get a good example for $30,000 to $40,000, you know, changed my mind, and I only found out after the video. So the total average rating of the car is going to be 7 out of 10. This next one, it's going to be a German one. E63 BMW 650i. For this BMW E63 650i, I'm not going to get the best rating in terms of looks. That's because I do believe it looks like a sloth. Due to it looking like a sloth, I just don't know how to feel about it. Sloths are beautiful creatures, just not when a car looks like one. In fact, I do believe I've actually seen one in real life. And I'm not calling the car ugly, I just don't favor the way it looks. So I'm going to have to give this one a 5.5 out of 10 in terms of looks. In terms of performance, I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10 because it's not overly powered. It's not super fast, but it's not slow to the point you get a headache, right? 362 horsepower and a 4.9 second 0 to 60. You know, again, it's enough to have fun, and it's not enough to be extremely dangerous. You can potentially break the law, but in a very fun way. Once again, 7 out of 10 for performance. For price, this is where I think I find it justifiable. I'm gonna give the price an 8 out of 10 because I've not heard the nicest things about the car, whether it has a V10 from the M6 or a V8 from the 650i. BMW V8s are notorious for being not super reliable. However, there have been as well 6 cylinders that are unreliable, like the N54, the N42, which is a 4-cylinder that apparently gave BMW its terrible reputation. However, everybody knows every year there is a super respectable 6-cylinder engine and transmission. For example, the ZF 8-speed automatic is apparently a super excellent, a super brilliant 8-speed transmission. The modern 6-speed manuals from BMW are apparently very reliable, but just boring. some people would prefer the automatic over the manual transmission. So for price, I'm gonna have to give it an 8 out of 10 because you can pick these things up for 15,000 to 18,000 bucks. Not super cheap, but again, not extremely expensive. We'll be giving the BMW E63 650i an average score of 6.8 out of 10. Remember how the car before this was an American muscle car? The next car will also be an American car. That will be the Dodge Viper ACR. Now everybody knows about the Dodge Viper. 8-liter V10, and later years they ported it to an 8.4-liter V10. Some people call it the last real Dodge. However, I believe the last true Dodge would be a Hellcat, because Hellcats are extremely reliable. They're extremely insane, especially the Demon 170 like I was talking about earlier. Has a sub 2-second 0 to 60, and it's a big body Dodge. Now, without getting off track, I want to say the Dodge Viper first generation, I'm not really a big fan. And trust me, I love my 2000s cars, but I prefer 2000s German cars over any other type of 2000s cars, especially American or Japanese, Korean, Swedish, whatever. But because this guy never specified what generation of Dodge Viper, I'm gonna be picking my favorite one, which is the ACR generation, or like 2016, 2017. Always, I'm gonna be starting with looks. This car is absolutely insane. It looks insane. It looks aggressive. It looks scary. And it is scary because the lack of traction control and other safety features. Now, the ACR does indeed have traction control and all those other safety features, but to a very bare minimum. So you're still at risk of swerving at a stop sign. I'm gonna give the looks a 10 out of 10. It's just such a beautiful car. However, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Sometimes, for some reason, I confuse it with a C7 Corvette. You can't lie, sometimes you would too. But 10 out of 10 for looks. Performance, another 10 out of 10. Because the Dodge Viper ACR makes a factory stock power of 645, I believe, horsepower. Keep in mind, this car was made to be bone stock light, bare bones light. Absolutely, I'm probably heavier than the car, and I'm 280 pounds. No, I'm not gonna go that far. This car's crazy light. The mix of it being a super lightweight car at 3,400 pounds and having 645 horsepower with a 6-speed manual, barely any safety controls, I'm gonna give this car's performance a 10 out of 10. Keep in mind, a Porsche 911 Carrera, a very lightweight car, weighs a little more than 400 pounds more. That just says so much about it, that this is a true track monster. And because of that, the price is not going to be small. It's going to be a very heavy loaded car. You're going to be spending a lot of money. I'm going to have to give it a 7 out of 10. Again, it's a little too expensive for me. Obviously, I'm broke. However, it is very justifiable because it's such a limited production car. It's such an insane car at that. 0.4-liter V10, 645 horsepower, less than 3,400 pounds. That's like a ton and a half. So 7 out of 10 because obviously it's overly expensive. However, you have to be able to justify it. So that brings my average score down to 9 out of 10. The best score we've gotten so far. Is the Dodge Viper ACR my style of car? No. I prefer elegance and whatnot over it. However, would I buy one if I had the money right gosh darn now? Yes, I would. I'm 20 years old. I like fun. I like speed. I like adrenaline. I'm buying that car. Now, would I buy a Trans Am? 100%. I would. It's my style of car. Iconic. It's beautiful. It's classy, yet aggressive. And it's not dangerous fun. Would I personally buy a 650i? No. Again, just not my taste. And now, would I buy a Nissan GTR? Also, no, not my taste. However, I completely understand anybody who does want one and does have one. It's just not my preferred style of car. Comment down below what your dream car is and let me know. And if you want to be in the next video, then make sure you drop a like, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you're following me on either TikTok or Instagram. Preferably Instagram, because that's where I answer most of my messages. If you want to enter into the next video, you are going to have to message me the name of the car and a picture of it. There is actually a $100 entry fee. No, I'm kidding. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share. I want to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of July, because by then I'm going to be able to make money off of YouTube. I'm going to be monetized. There are many people that ask their followers for money. The only way I'm asking you guys for money is by asking you to subscribe. And when I reach 1,000 subscribers, YouTube is going to be giving me that money. So if you did enjoy this video, make sure to watch my previous videos, because you are going to enjoy those as well. Finally, it's been me.